What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with The Distance. I'm kind of busy today. Had kind of had a project to do earlier today for a class, and it went by very well. So I've been somewhat busy. I actually ended up buying a video game. Kind of as a bit of a reward for kind of going through all that stuff. But I'm kind of waiting for it to download on the PS3 right now. But I'm on my way to purchasing this video game. Shane Mosley was on K104 out here in Dallas, Texas, and they were interviewing him, and you know what you get with a lot of interview people when, especially on some of these radio shows with people who really don't know anything about boxing, like the people from K104. All they know really is Shane's a good boxer and Floyd's a good boxer, but around the time Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Oscar De La Hoya, when they were about to fight, like around, I think it was May 5th, 2007, almost 3 years ago, when they were about to fight, I remember De La Hoya being on K104 and they're all over his nuts and pretty much talking about, how he's going to give Floyd trouble. And then, but it was quite funny because the people who were on the show at that time were talking about how Floyd was going to take Oscar De La Hoya to school, this, that, and the other, and they get Oscar on the show, and it's a different story. And then after Floyd wins, and some of the people who were saying De La Hoya was going to win was talking about, yeah, I knew Floyd was going to win. Yeah, we knew Floyd was going to win that fight. And really, they don't even talk about boxing, but they usually talk about basketball, and they had this thing where they made fun of Avery Johnson when he was the coach of the Dallas Mavericks. But anyway, on to the interview. Really, I wasn't listening much to the interview because a lot of the stuff that Mosley said was stuff that was said before. But Mosley said something that really stood out. Mosley said that, this is what Mosley said: if I could land shots that Marquez, the same shots, and catch Mayweather at the end of shots the way Marquez did, then I could ultimately knock him out. And this is what Shane Mosley had said on the radio today, probably about an hour ago. And that really stood out to me. Because one of the questions in this fight is, can Shane Mosley land against Floyd Mayweather Jr.? And I already have my prediction for the fight, which is Floyd Mayweather Jr. unanimous decision. But at the same time, I do think that Shane Mosley, if he smells blood in this fight, then he could possibly knock out Floyd. That's my opinion, if he smells blood in this fight. And a lot of people, including myself and including the whole boxing public, are very excited for this fight. But I think one of the major problems really are radio stations such as these that really don't know anything about boxing, that are promoting the fight and kind of misleading the fans. Because, let's face it, boxing by no means is much of a mainstream sport. If it wasn't for the internet and possibly, journalism, then I really don't know where boxing would be right now. It's good to see radio stations such as K104 in Dallas and even ESPN Radio give boxing coverage, but this interview with Shane Mosley was only about 3-4 minutes, now that I remember. If you add up everything, because they kept having to go to the commercial break and all that stuff, and it was around lunchtime. So really, I do believe that Mayweather will win the fight, and I really wonder what would happen if Shane Mosley hurt Floyd. Because if he hurt Floyd Mayweather Jr., I think it could spell pretty much the beginning of the end for the fight, possibly, if Shane Mosley can hurt Floyd. But overall, I don't know if there's even a podcast for the interview or anything, but it was kind of a generic interview, stuff that we all heard before. As a boxing fan, and you pay attention to a lot of these interviews, and you kind of hear the same stuff over and over again, and that was something that I don't even remember Shane Mosley ever saying. I know I've heard him say, I'm going to knock out Floyd, But now he's, now he's talking about, I can catch him if I can catch him. The way Marquez did, I'll knock him out, was exactly what he said, or something along those lines. But now he's talking about, now he's kind of talking the if factor. He didn't really, to be honest, listening to this interview, he didn't sound confident that he'll land. He's just he was kind of alluding to other fights and stuff. But the interview was it was probably about 12:10, and it was pretty much till 12:25 maybe. But but Shane only had 2 minutes of talking in that in that interview. But anyway, that's just me sharing that with everybody. Shane Mosley was on the radio here, giving his opinion on the fight and giving his take. But I thought it could have been a better interview, but you kind of get that when you deal with people who really don't know anything about the sport. And you have people who don't know anything about the sport writing the scripts and all that stuff. So it's expected. But anyway, that was Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.